All right, let's just dive right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a fascinating and honestly incredibly urgent topic lined up for you today. We're going to take what might normally look like some pretty standard, dry textbook economic concepts, and we're going to transform them into a high-stakes, actionable master plan to save our planet. We're looking at 12 actionable strategies for sustainability. So if you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer scale of environmental degradation and you're wondering what the actual practical solutions are, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get started.
So right off the bat, sustainable development is defined as development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. What's really interesting here is how it frames the environment. It's not just a bunch of raw materials waiting to be consumed. It's a shared, common heritage. We literally can't just chase economic growth without giving serious thought to the long-term consequences. Depleting these natural resources is a real, measurable cost of development, and we've got an ethical compulsion to treat it that way if we want our society to keep functioning.
To tackle this, we've broken today's agenda into 4 key areas. 1. Resource management. 2. Clean energy tech. 3. Sustainable agriculture. And 4. Policy and transport.
Think of this as your action playbook. We've taken a pretty massive list of 12 specific strategies and condensed them into these 4 easy-to-follow steps. It's essentially our exclusive master plan for human survival and economic responsibility. Implementing these 4 steps is exactly how we guarantee a healthy environment, which, is directly tied to our overall quality of life. Without this playbook, we're looking at some severe consequences down the road. We're talking melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and a devastating loss of biodiversity. So let's break down exactly how we execute this plan.
Starting with Step 1, Resource Management, the foundation.
To really get this foundation, I want you to imagine the Earth as a massive, shared bank account that requires incredibly careful balancing. This is the foundational mandate of sustainability. Now, for renewable resources, the mathematical formula for our survival is super strict. Extraction must be less than or equal to the renewal rate. Basically, we have to replenish them faster than we use them, so their usefulness actually goes up instead of down. We simply can't withdraw more natural capital than nature can deposit back into the account. And for non-renewable resources, things like minerals and oil, the strategy is simple but extremely urgent. We must minimize extraction and completely avoid any wasteful, ruthless exploitation.
Moving on to Step 2, Clean Energy Tech, the switch.
We have got to break our old dirty habits that are causing massive air pollution and actively flip the switch to cleaner tech. Think of this as investing in high-yield green assets instead of just setting our capital on fire. So here's our rapid-fire list of specific, eco-friendly energy options we need to adopt, like right now. To replace highly polluting petrol and diesel, we urgently need to lean into gobar gas, solar energy, and wind power. And gobar gas, by the way, literally turns cow dung into power. I mean, talk about a solid return on investment. Then, for our daily transport and domestic needs, the immediate move is toward liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, and compressed natural gas, CNG. Switching over to these cleaner fuels directly eases the stress on our resources and is a huge win for environmental conservation.
Next up is Step 3, Sustainable Agriculture, the roots.
Let's slow down for a second and bring this back to what literally ends up on your dinner plate every single night. The excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides has severely degraded our topsoil. Worse, it's allowed toxic chemicals to creep right into our food chain. Our soil is our ultimate savings account, and right now, it is totally overdrawn. The solution here is transitioning to organic farming. You can think of it as nature's original technology. The key strategies involve ditching those toxic chemicals for biocompost made from organic wastes and deploying biological pest control based on plant products. Doing this doesn't just save the soil from erosion, it is the absolute cornerstone of sustainable agricultural development.
And finally, Step 4, Policy and Transport, the scale.
Okay, so far we've looked at resources, energy, and food. But how do we scale up individual eco-friendly choices? They scale up through a timeline of massive systemic shifts, which are absolutely vital if we want to reduce the awful air pollution plaguing our urban areas. First, governments have to step up and enforce strict vehicle emission standards. Second, we have to mandate the installation of technical devices, like catalytic converters, to actively scrub out that pollution. Third, we need to radically expand public transit, especially things like the metros, to physically cut down the sheer number of private vehicles on the road. And finally, none of this works without massive public awareness.
We need roadshows, exhibitions, and widespread education to make sure everybody understands why conserving our natural assets is a non-negotiable requirement.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. It's what I call the generational heritage question. Will we be the generation that just blindly chased unchecked growth at the expense of our planet? Or will we be the one that actually implemented the master plan to save our common heritage? Because this isn't just about feeling good, it's a logical imperative. It's how we guarantee future generations the exact same opportunities that we've enjoyed, and it requires all 12 of these actionable strategies working together. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this crucial roadmap. I really hope this leaves you thinking about how we can all contribute to balancing that massive environmental bank account.